Hello my lovely human beings and welcome back to part 4 of my ayahuasca video series. In this video I will be talking about my second ayahuasca ceremony, and if you've been watching the previous videos then you'll know that we have ceremonies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night at the retreat where I went. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the Tuesday night ceremony. I hope you guys are enjoying this little video series. It's something that I've wanted to talk about on my channel for a really long time, but I kind of thought I would save it till I actually had the experience myself so I could share more of my first-hand experience instead of just talking about ayahuasca from like a distant perspective. I thought it would be more authentic if I'd done it myself, which now I have. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. Before I get into it, I just wanted to quickly talk about my intention for this ceremony. So they say at Rythmia, which is where I went to do my ceremonies, if you're finding it hard to connect with the medicine or you're not really getting much from it, then they recommend setting your intention to show me how to trust. So if you guys have watched my first ayahuasca experience video, you'll know that I found it really hard to connect with Mother Ayahuasca, and I wasn't really receiving many downloads and I didn't get my first intention met, which the majority of people actually did. So they recommended to set my intention for the next night to show me how to trust. And that is exactly what I did. And this is the intention that I set for the rest of the week because I thought maybe this was blocking me from having a deeper connection with the medicine and from having a deeper experience. So for the rest of the nights, I used the show me how to trust intention, and I'm gonna get into how that went. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day wherever you are in this big wide world in which we live in. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to be notified of when I upload new videos, because there's still a few more parts in this series if you're enjoying it. And on that note, let's get into my second ceremony. So Tuesday rolled around and yeah, we had classes and all of that sort of stuff. I weirdly wasn't as tired as I thought I would be, and they did say that when you're on ayahuasca you don't need as much sleep as you usually would, and I had like probably 4 hours sleep and I didn't feel tired. Like I actually felt refreshed, which was very strange for me because usually if I have minimal sleep, like I'll feel it. Most people would. So Tuesday rolled around and basically fast forward to Tuesday night. This was Brad's ceremony, so a different shaman, and the brew was Rythmia's own brew that Brad makes on site. And so it was a different brew, and I was like, oh, maybe that'll be like a different experience, because I was still feeling a bit frustrated that nothing really much happened to me the night before. It was very, very subtle, and I guess you hear about ayahuasca and you think of these like crazy full-blown experiences, and then when you have a subtle one you're like, well, why is there something wrong with me? Like why did I have such a subtle experience? Although I was thankful, I had quite an enjoyable night, except I did find there were moments where I was very much stuck in my head, very much asking questions and feeling really frustrated and confused. So Tuesday night rolls around, same thing, opening talk, rape again, which was yet again a really good experience, painful but grounding at the same time. And then we drank the first cup and then drank the second cup, and if you want more medicine you can go up and have more, which I think my regret was not drinking more medicine. I had 2 cups the first night and I had 2 cups again this night, and I had a very similar experience, which is weird because they say like no 2 ceremonies are the same, but I had a very similar experience. I really didn't feel much and I was yet again quite frustrated and confused. I thought maybe like the first night she was just kind of getting to know my body, and then, you know, maybe the second night I would go a bit deeper. But yet again, I felt pretty much sober throughout the whole night. Although some people said, oh, my light just went out. Oh, and the darkness begins. Oh, I think my light has just run out of battery. That's very weird. We might have to continue the rest of the video like this. I hope this lighting is somewhat okay. It's still daytime here, so it's not too dark. What was I saying? Yeah, some people said like if you were meant to feel something after the 2 cups, you would have. My roommate actually drank 4 cups that night and did 3 rapes, and she was completely sober as well. So I guess maybe it doesn't matter how much you drink. If you're gonna feel something or something's gonna come up, it's gonna come up maybe after 1 cup or 2 cups. You don't need necessarily 4. I didn't drink more that night, but yeah, that night there's not much to say about it, to be honest. I'm gonna check my notes here just to see if there's anything to add. Okay, so I wrote down here, super distracted by everyone and noises and people walking around. I found it really difficult to keep to myself, and they say at Rythmia, like, mind your own business. Try to really stay in your own zone, in your own healing, and not get distracted by other people. And I found that whenever there was a sound, I would like look around, see where it was coming from, or like a noise. And maybe because I was like right next to the door as well and right across from the bathroom, anytime someone went to the bathroom or went outside, I was like very aware that they were there, and I'd like open my eyes and look around. So I found it really difficult to like stay in my own lane. Also, when you're on ayahuasca, like all your senses are heightened, so I would hear things and think that I heard like someone like right near me, and I'd look up and there'd be like no one, like there'd be nothing happening there. And then I would hear like the shamans doing things as if it was right next to me, but it would be like at the other end of the room. Like your senses are very heightened, and so I kept thinking I'd hear things like really close by to me, but there was nothing going on near me at all. I wrote here, frustrated and disappointed, had 2 cups, felt slightly trippy, but no insights. And so that's what frustrated me a little bit, was the fact that I did feel like I was under the influence of the medicine, don't get me wrong. Like I could definitely feel like I was not sober. It was kind of like I drank a bottle of vodka. Like, you know, you feel drunk, but I was very much not getting any insights or intentions met, and every time I would ask a question or try connect with Mother Ayahuasca, there was like no response. And this really confused me, because I was like, I don't understand why no one's answering me. Like, I don't know why I'm not getting anything back, and I'm trying to connect, but just nothing's happening. And I spoke to a couple of helpers about this the next day, and they asked me, like, do you feel that way in your everyday life at home? Do you feel like disconnected? Do you feel alone? Do you feel lonely? Do you feel confused and frustrated? And I reflected and I said, yeah, I do. And they were like, well, that's what Mother Ayahuasca was trying to show you. She's showing you in a very subtle way that that's how you feel in your everyday life, and she's making you feel that in ceremony. And so for me, I was like, okay, like interesting, and that makes a lot of sense. But I still felt as though there was, yeah, it confused me. Like I really wasn't sure why this was happening to me. All these people around me were having these like miraculous, life-changing experiences, and I felt like mine was just really, really subtle, and I wasn't really getting much from the experience. But then maybe that's disrespectful of me to say that, and maybe she's trying to teach me patience, and maybe I was just being really impatient, or maybe I was holding myself back. Like, I don't know. But yet again, I felt very frustrated and confused because I wasn't really getting much or any insights, and I felt like there was heaps of stuff sitting here that I needed to heal and that I wanted to heal, but none of it was coming up. So then in my head I was like, maybe I'm not as fucked up as I thought I was. Maybe I don't need to heal this stuff, and maybe the fact that I've been in therapy for so long, maybe a lot of it, more of it's been healed than I thought it had. Like, I don't know, it was just a confusing time for me, and I'm still kind of making sense of it. Like I've only been back for a couple of days, so it seems to be definitely a process, and a long process. So who knows, maybe more of this will make sense to me over time, and I will definitely keep you guys updated and film like a video in a couple of months filling you guys in about any changes or any new realizations. But for now, I'm still kind of trying to make sense of my experience, or like lack of experience in that sense. I wrote here, when I asked ayahuasca something or spoke to her, there was no response. Felt disconnected and alone and envious / confused. I feel this way in life. Perhaps going between being in my head and at peace is a metaphor of my state of mind, my wide brain, and how it could be. I just need to relax, be, and accept. From what I can make of it at this point in time, I think that throughout the night I was either in my head or I felt like really peaceful, and it kept kind of going between the two. Like I'd feel frustrated and confused, and then I would feel like really peaceful and blissful, and then I'd get in my head again and get frustrated and confused, and then I'd feel really blissful and like dance and feel good, and it would kind of go back and forth. And I think I've realized that my brain is super wired, and I'm constantly like a lot of the time in my head, and I think she was maybe trying to show me like, this is what you're like, this is how you live your life, and you're always in your head, but this is what it can be like. This is how you can feel at peace, you can feel blissful, and just be present and enjoy the moment. I think that's what that was maybe trying to get at. I'm not gonna like overanalyze too much, but I think from reflecting a little bit, that she was maybe trying to show me how I am and how I could be, and the contrast between the two. And it felt much better to be peaceful and just in the moment and blissful, having a dance, looking at the stars, sitting outside, sitting by the fire. Even though not much happened and I don't feel like I had this crazy experience that night, it was still beautiful in its own right, because it was graceful, it was gentle, it was subtle. And I did ask ayahuasca, like, please be gentle with me, like I'm really scared, and she was nothing but gentle with me throughout the whole week. So yeah, I just needed to learn to relax and accept. So that was night 2, and then that finished at like 1:30. We had our closing talk, and then went back to our rooms and went to sleep. And if you can't like walk or make it back to your room, or don't feel like walking back to your room, they have like a golf cart and they call it the soul train, and there's like the driver, and he's like, anyone want to ride on the soul train? And you can like get on and they'll take you to your room. But I really enjoyed walking back to my room under the stars after ceremony. I found it really peaceful and relaxing, and so I didn't need the soul train, but a lot of people preferred that option. Just thought I'd mention it. I realized I forgot to refer to my journal for night 1. I just want to see if there's anything I missed. I didn't feel anything first cup, took second cup and went outside. Could feel the medicine a little. The stars looked amazing, which they did. They were honestly, like, I wish every night sky looked like that because it was the most beautiful thing ever. Speaking of the stars, you know how I said before, like, you have to remain like the noble silence and, you know, not interact with people. I was outside looking at the stars, and there was one guy out there looking at the stars as well, and then this other guy came up to him and obviously looked at the stars, got so excited and put his arm around him. He was like, bro, look at the stars, oh my god. And they were both like looking at the stars and they were like getting so excited together, and I just like looked over and like smiled to myself, and I was like, I feel ya. I didn't say anything, but I was like, it was like a knowing look. It was like, yeah, those are some pretty beautiful stars, not gonna lie. So that was really funny. I found that quite entertaining, and they were like getting really excited. They're like, oh my god, dude, like look at the stars. And I was like, I feel ya. They are beautiful. Back to my notes. Oh, my camera's flashing again, so we might have to wrap this up and then I'll go through nights 3 and 4. Felt the music so deeply. I was dancing on my mat, kept getting distracted, could hear things near me, but looked around and there wasn't anything nearby. Watched the helpers dance and it was so beautiful. Realized that I am so in my head and kept getting distracted. Yawned and cried but didn't vomit. Felt bad for having a good experience with when others were suffering. That was a little summary of my first night. I went through the second night. Sorry, I felt like I had to go back and read my notes just in case there was something that I missed. So that brings me to the end of ceremony number 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video and hearing about my second ceremony. As I mentioned, my intention was to show me how to trust, and I was very surprised about how the medicine showed me this. I assumed that she was gonna throw me in the deep end and into some hectic, really difficult experience and I'd have to just surrender and trust it, but instead she gave me a really light experience slash not very much of an experience, and I guess she was showing me how to trust in the fact that whatever was happening was exactly how it was meant to be. I was obviously not meant to have this hectic, really difficult experience. I was obviously meant to have a more peaceful, gentle time, and I think she was showing me how to trust that way, to not have expectations and to just go with the flow and just trust that this is part of my process and I just have to trust that that was exactly what was meant to happen. On that note, I'm gonna go, but thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's start a little discussion about Mama Ayahuasca, or if you guys have any questions, then leave them down below, whether they're relating to my personal experience or ayahuasca in general, or maybe you're feeling called to the medicine but you're really scared or nervous. Like, I've been through all of that, so comment down below and I will be sure to answer them. If you want to keep up to date with my regular, normal, everyday life, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Amy Grace with 3 E's. I will have it somewhere on the screen now. I post a lot more on there, and I have posted a bunch of pictures from my holiday and my retreat and all that good stuff, so if you want to see more, then that is where you can do that. And on that note, I'm gonna go, but I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are in this big wide world in which we live in. And don't forget to be kind to each other and kind to yourselves, especially through this crazy time we're all going through. And I will see you guys very, very soon, where I talk about my 3rd ayahuasca ceremony. Bye!